So in terms of impact of the scholarship on me, I think I can benchmark it against what I thought I was going to get going in and what I got from the scholarship actually. So when I went in, I was very keen on case teaching as a means of intersecting theory and practice or integrating theory and practice. And that was achieved, definitely. That still holds. But what I found was that it also supports employability prospects of students. I think my job role, it's something called Academic Champion for Embedding Employability and Enterprise. I got it. I always feel like I need to give myself a round of applause when I get the title right. But hey, so I'm called an ACE. And so what I do is I try to embed employability and enterprise into our models. So I find myself auditing models, looking through the content of models and seeing how we can make improvements such that students that take those models can also get employability benefits. And one of the things I have found myself doing over and over again is recommending having case teaching as a pedagogical stance within the models because, hey, students not only get to learn the theory, see themselves within the theory, but they can also see practice. It's almost like role modeling and it builds efficacy for the students. And what I have found is that students are increasingly enjoying taking these models, enjoying the cases, and seeing it as a real life representation of what they're learning. So I would say that that's a plus that I have seen with the case teaching scholarship. Again, one of the things I have done in my model is I try to refresh it, make it a little bit more up to date. And so I would skim the news the week before and see what's happening in the news. So, for instance, yesterday the Lionesses won dramatically. So, what I would try to do is create a discussion, like a case type discussion, and make it like a case teaching and put that within a section of my model. And what I have found is that it's enlarged students' knowledge base, like what they know. It's also signposted the sort of things they should be looking out for. That how do I link what I'm learning in class with what is happening? So if they find themselves in an interview situations, for instance, they can make it real and not look like something that was produced by AI. So this is what I can say the impact of the teaching has been on me, just really, really bringing that life into the classroom in diverse ways. So the elements of the scholarship that I would say I really, really benefited from, I think I'll start from when the scholarship started. And that was that couple of days spent in Porto with the incredible Angela Lee. She was phenomenal. I mean, the training session, it wasn't just about case teaching for me. It strengthened everything I knew about teaching practice, and that was key in setting me up for the rest of the scholarship. So one of the things I took from her training session, which I've applied across board, even when it's not case teaching I'm doing, is when she linked it with the Bloom's taxonomy, and she was talking about how we do cognitive loading and decreasing or deloading, if I could call it that. Within the classroom, you see the students and you can see they're not connecting. They don't get what I'm saying and what sort of questions you can do to bring them back to what you're trying to pass on. So I think that for me was core and center for case teaching and other aspects of pedagogy that I would employ in the classroom. So that was good. Also, the community. I love the fact that I met people there. We don't get a lot of in-person events nowadays. So just being able to do that in person then, of course, helped me to connect with colleagues from other universities, learn what they're doing in their own faculties as well, and being able to, extend that collegiality, I think I would say, beyond just my own university. And lastly, I must say this is access. Access. And what I mean by that is, I don't know how, but everybody at the case center is brilliant at responding to you at lightning speed. Sometimes even when I ask the stupid questions, I think back and I'm like, Doyin, I'm sure they've told you that sometime. They're always quick to respond. They're always so nice. So I don't take that for granted because sometimes you work with organizations and sometimes you begin to feel like a bother. Never felt like that. All through the scholarship, everything I wanted to know was, responded to with so much grace and accuracy and effectiveness as well. So I think that, yeah, I really enjoyed that element of the scholarship too. Okay, so I have many takeaways, but when I talk about key takeaways, I'm going to try to limit it to just 3 points because I could talk about this forever. So the first one was, we're in a world that is so tech savvy. Tech is taking center stage. We teach the students with tech. We make them bring their laptops. We're doing Slido, and I love all those things. I'm all for bringing tech into teaching, but I love the fact that from the scholarship, I was able to take away that I can still get high levels of student engagement with something that might not be predominantly a Gen Z tool, discussions, talking to people, and it's so powerful. So I love the case teaching segments of my classes where we just switch off everything. We don't look at everything. We just look at each other face to face, and we try to recollect the things that we've learned and put it into practice. So I think one of my key takeaways was being able to manage a largely Gen Z cohort with tools from the dark ages called discussion, and case teaching enabling me to do that in a way that I don't lose the students and the students are still engaged. And then secondly, I think going forward, I've also conducted 2 sessions for my faculty, 2 sessions of passing on case teaching and kind of like just being able to promote this as a pedagogy. And I love the feedback that I've been able to get from colleagues, from faculty, and people even talking about how they've changed their assessment to something that is case teaching led, which for me, it's brilliant because I think what's the point of learning it if you can't pass it on and if it's not of good use? So I want my takeaway from the scholarship is that I have something that I can empower others with. And by others, I mean colleagues. So I want to do more of that. Maybe talk to the academic development and see how we can have regular CPD sessions that are based on case teaching pedagogy and maybe encourage some of my colleagues as well to apply for this scholarship, pass it on. And lastly, again, I really thought about this. When Ulf gave me the feedback on my case teaching, it made me really reflect on that transference between, I'll call it senior faculty and junior faculty. Being an ECR, people give you feedback, but I mean, the feedback was so thorough. He was even giving me the timestamps, screenshots, and honestly, thank you, Ulf. That was really, really useful. But I think what it left me with, as well as a takeaway from the scholarship, is how I want to be as faculty as I grow in academia, and the kind of person I want to be to others coming alongside me, and just to reinforce that strength and the difference that tailored feedback can make, and never be too busy to offer people that. It doesn't have to be many, many times, but even when I do it well, such that people appreciate that and maybe continue to pass it on. So I think it's a pass it on theme that the scholarship has left me with, and which I greatly, greatly appreciate.